Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
It's the third and final stop of the road trip, although the Brewers will be well represented in the Target Field stands tonight as the Milwaukee Brewers get ready to square off against the Minnesota Twins. These two teams will see a lot of each other this week. Two here in Minneapolis, two more at Miller Park. Jonathan Lucroy, as you would expect, looking forward to this series. He has fared well in his career against the Twins, a nearly .350 batting average. And Joe Mauer, as healthy as he has been in quite some time, off to a great start and very impressive numbers against the Brewers as well. Good evening. I'll spit it out from Target Field in Minneapolis alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Matt LePay, trying to learn how to talk and filling in for Brian Anderson. Sophia Minnaert is our reporter tonight. And Rock, the final stop of this three-city road trip, Brewers and Twins. Brewers trying to get their bats back in order consistently. Looks like the Twins are taking steps in that direction after a miserable start, but a really good weekend.
Well, and again, I think the Twins are a team that you would figure is going to score some runs. They only scored 14 runs in their first 9 games, an 0-9 start. And the one guy that is going to have to keep these guys down after the Twins bats got going over the weekend, Chase Anderson, one of the most consistent starters for the Brewers. He and Jimmy Anderson have really fared well in their starts. Anderson 1-0. The Brewers have won both of his starts. He's only walked 2 batters, struck out 9 in 11 innings of work. Now, everybody talks about starting pitching and the importance of starting pitching, but it is glaring so far this year. The Brewers 5-7, and when you break down what their starting pitching has done so far, check it out. 2 things to look at. The earned run average for the starters, 161 in the 5 wins, and look what's going on in the 7 losses. The run differential, 10 in the wins, that's an average of 2, and they're getting beat by about 6 runs a game. So, and when you consider the innings that the starters are eating up, it's only 4 innings in the losses, and it's almost 6 in the wins. So starting pitching, very important. Chase Anderson has certainly fit the bill this year so far.
Get Chase Anderson to continue to give his team a chance. Big Brewer connection in both dugouts, of course, when we continue. Sophia Minnaert will check in with the managers, Molitor and Council, as we continue on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The final stop of this 8-game road trip for the Brewers brings them to Target Field here in Minneapolis. We get ready for 4 games of interleague play between the Brewers and the Twins. The first 2 played here at Target Field, the next 2 at Miller Park. And between these 2 managers, Craig Counsell and Paul Molitor, there is a long personal history, and they have a lot of history with Brewers fans as well. We take a look at the resumes. Paul Molitor, 21 years in the big leagues, 15 of those in a Brewers uniform, a Hall of Famer, now coaching his hometown team, the St. Paul native. Craig Counsell, a very similar story. 16 seasons for him, 6 of them as a Brewer, 2 times the World Series champion, the Whitefish Bay native, now taking over the Brewers. So Counsell and Molitor, they have known each other a long time, and now it's a unique opportunity to compete against one another.
You know, for those unfamiliar, his dad was the community relations director for a long time while I played there. And so Craig, as a youngster, was around the ballpark. And, you know, just a kid who was kind of, instead of a gym rat, he was kind of a baseball field rat. You know, he just loved being around and befriended by all the players. I remember at some point him going off and his dad being really proud. He was going to Notre Dame like his father had done. And next time I saw him, he was in the big leagues, you know, and he went on to have a pretty amazing career and a couple championships, and didn't know where he was going to end up as far as front office or on the field. Very intelligent, and you know, I think it's a great opportunity for him to get that franchise back on track.
What's cool for me is that I knew him as a kid. You know, had dinner with him as a kid, you know, many times, and so just the fact that you know, you're kind of on the same. You're in the same place as him and on the same level of him, and get to kind of compete against him is pretty cool.
2 familiar faces in opposing dugouts. We've got first pitch coming up next from Target Field. Matt LePay, Bill Schroeder coming up next.
always fun when the Brewers and Twins hook up. 2 here in Minneapolis, 2 more coming up Wednesday and Thursday at Miller Park. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. Keeping our fingers crossed that we will stay dry today. A little on the muggy side, believe it or not, is just under 70 degrees now, a cloudy sky. And right now, so far, so good. We do have dry conditions here at Target Field. Craig Counsell's team trying to snap a little 2-game skid here after winning the series opener in Pittsburgh. They dropped the games on Saturday and Sunday. And let's take a look at the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Domingo Santana, per usual, at the top, followed by Scooter Gennett and Ryan Braun. Lucroy, Carter, and Hill in the middle. Neuenhuis, Villar, and Flores rounding out the batting order. Of course, Ryan Braun, the DH, here tonight. We are set to go. Phil Hughes, 0-2, but has had a couple of quality starts as we are ready to get underway. The Brewers and Twins here at Target Field. The first pitch to Santana, a strike, and we are off and running here in Minneapolis.
And to say Phil Hughes is a strike thrower is an understatement. This guy very rarely, if ever, walks a batter. So this patient Brewers offense is going to have to readjust their approach here tonight. They're not going to get many walks. Phil Hughes has not walked a batter this year, and hardly walks anybody all season.
And he is quickly ahead, 2 strikes and nothing to Domingo Santana. And that's been the MO of the career of Phil Hughes. It's Domingo Santana at the top of the order, a .370 on base percentage to go along with that batting average that you see there at .261. 1-2 pitch coming. And this is sent in the air down the line and right, and it will slice out of play. Just getting started. Brewers and the Minnesota Twins. Talk about Hughes a couple of years ago. He was historically good in terms of not walking batters at the best strikeout to walk ratio ever. Better than 11.5. He was just terrific. So the Brewers know that he won't miss often.
He misses by design. You know, 2014, he won 16 games and walked 16 batters.
It's incredible.
That is something else, isn't it?
2-2 pitch to Domingo Santana. And that just missed. And right away, a full count to the leadoff hitter here tonight. Yeah, 209 and 2/3 innings pitched, 16 walks. Just an amazing number put up by Phil Hughes a couple of years ago. And that is hit to the right side and a sliding stop by the second baseman, Brian Dozier. And there's the first out of the night.
Well, let's check out our Menards Twins defense. They've committed 8 errors this year. That's around the middle of the pack in the American League right now. You see Arcia, the star in yesterday's ball game, 12-inning win for the Twins. He drove it in the bottom of the 12th inning. We mentioned those 8 errors. Escobar at shortstop has 4 of them. A pretty decent defensive unit. Kurt Suzuki's going to be hanging the signs for Hughes tonight.
Twins dropped their first 9 games of the season, but they were in really all but one, you could say, as Scooter Gennett going after the first pitch and sending this one into left center field, and not even the lightning fast Byron Buxton can run it down. That'll be a stand-up double for Gennett.
I think that's what you're going to see tonight. I mean, the approach for the Brewers has got to be aggressive early in the count, because a guy like Hughes, he's only going to throw pitches out of the zone if you show him you're going to be chasing. Well, you're not going to be chasing. So early in the count, he gets a fastball and drives it into left center. Scooter had been struggling on this road trip, and finally in the hit column with an extra base hit here in the first.
So the Brewers with a runner in scoring position here in the opening inning. Scooter Gennett goes the other way for a double, and now Ryan Braun, who will serve as the designated hitter tonight. Ryan has put up some pretty good numbers, obviously, period, but better than 300 in his career. And the Brewers have matched up against the Minnesota Twins. You see it right there. He was shown the home run power, as he did in Pittsburgh on Friday night. A couple of 2-run homers gave the Brewers a win in that series opener against the Pirates. It was tough sledding after that, but Ronnie provided the big bat in the win on Friday at PNC Park. Brewers come in 5-7.
Yep, got the day off yesterday, and you're going to see that from Craig Count. He's going to give Brawny day games after night games off from time to time, just to keep him sharp, make sure that back's going to be under control.
2 balls, no strikes to Braun. That's back up the middle, and that's through into center field, a base hit. Rounding third is Jeanette, and very quickly the Brewers take the lead. First on the board, RBI single for Ryan Braun.
Once again, Ryan Braun laying off a couple of pitches out of the zone. He's got to behind and gets a fastball to handle right back through the middle, right down the middle of the plate, and Braun able to get the top spin on it and bounce it into center field. A good start for the crew after a couple of rough days offensively in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Saturday night the Brewers were shut out on just 3 hits, and yesterday managed 3 runs on only 6 hits. Quickly get on the board here tonight as Jonathan Lucroy steps in against Phil Hughes, who is scuffling a bit out of the gate in this series opener.
And ordinarily with controlled pitchers like Hughes, you want to get them early. It's an old cliche, but it's so true. Once these guys settle in, they don't give up a whole lot. Get them early, or you might not get them at all.
And pitching was not really the problem for the Twins in their first 9 games. They just had all kinds of trouble scoring runs. As a matter of fact, they managed but 14 runs in those first 9 losses. Since then, Paul Molitor's team flipped the switch and swept the Los Angeles Angels over the weekend. Scored 14 runs in that series. He knows the ebb and flow of a long season.
Yeah. He knows his team's going to get some hits. They're going to score some runs. Just took them a little bit too long.
Strike to Lucroy, 2-1 the count. Luke with a couple of RBIs. He has hit .330 in his career, which covers 27 games against the Twins. Homering 5 times.
As difficult a season it was for the Brewers last year, they won 4 of 6 from the Twins last year. Lucroy certainly would like to get that stroke back to where it was a couple of years ago. It's coming slow.
Hughes misses away. 3 balls, 1 strike to the Brewers catcher. Jonathan on the road trip, 6 for 23. This is the final stop of this 3-city swing for the crew. Started in St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and now wrapping up here at Target Field. Braun the runner at first, RBI single. Scooter Jeanette doubled. Braun brought him around. 3-1 pitch. This has popped up, and Joe Mauer going over, but he'll run out of room.
Hughes is a low 90s pitcher. He's got a 4-seamer, a cutter. We've seen a number of cutters, and he's got that big curveball. Every now and again, not too often, maybe 5 times a night, he might throw a changeup, but basically a 3-pitch pitcher. And throws them all for strikes, obviously.
As you see what he has done, the 2 quality starts for him, but nothing to show for it. Outings against the Orioles and the White Sox. Payoff pitch coming to Jonathan Lucroy. Braun on the move, and Lucroy fouls it off. Good start here for the Brewers after a leadoff ground ball from Santana. And Lucroy trying to keep the good ways going here for Milwaukee. Cancer's team mentioned 5-7 coming into this series. These two teams will be right back at it tomorrow, just after noon here in Minneapolis. Get an eye on Braun, who has yet to successfully steal a base. He's been caught in his one attempt so far.
Now, if he's running, you know his back's going to be feeling pretty good. Got the day off yesterday, Sunday. Back was giving him a little bit of a problem on Saturday night. But he was running on a 3-2 pitch.
He holds here as Lucroy stays alive. So the Brewers, this very early stage, doing what they've been doing, making pitchers work. Hughes not a guy who's going to give up walks. But they are making Hughes throw a lot of pitches here in this first inning. One more time, the 3-2 pitch. Not yet. Is again keeping an eye on Braun.
Yeah, obviously Phil Hughes, a ground ball pitcher, so you know you get the 3-2 count. Maybe start the runner to stay out of the double play. Braun not running on the last 3-2 pitch.
It certainly has the attention of the Twins pitcher. He was an all-star with the Yankees 6 years ago, an 18-game winner that year. Staff that featured CC Sabathia and Andy Pettit. Now he's ready with a payoff. And Lucroy will waste another one. Extended at bat here for Jonathan Lucroy. Pitch coming up. Already a run across here for Milwaukee. And you'll need a 10th.
Yeah, just continues to pound the strike zone on the 3-2 count. That was the curveball that time. And Lucroy out in front. Those are normally pitches that Lucroy is going to try and drive into the gap out in the right center, just a little bit out in front of it. You see him playing him pretty much straight away. I mean, that's about as straight away as you'll see anybody. Dozier a little bit up the middle.
Interesting to see how various teams across baseball shift or don't. The Brewers shift quite a bit. Twins perhaps not so much. Again, the 3-2. And that is strike 3 called. There is out number 2. First strikeout of the night for Phil Hughes.
That was a long battle, but finally got him on the inside part of the plate. Check it out. What is it? That cut fastball that started in off the plate, and with that late movement caught the edge just at the bottom of the strike zone.
Two outs. Braun the runner at first as Phil Hughes now will square off against Chris Carter. One of the tough parts of this storyline early for the Brewers, being patient at the plate and obviously drawing a lot of walks. A lot of called third strikes in the first 2 weeks of this regular season.
Yeah, a few too many. Maybe patient to a fault when you've got 2 strikes.
Good rip, but a foul back.
Being patient at the plate. I mean, it's been good for the Brewers in the fact that they've been drawing a lot of walks, but a lot of their strikeouts, and they have struck out quite a bit, almost half of them have been called strike 3s. That's something you want to do. I mean, Darnell Cole says get your licks up there.
This is a good night to do it against a premier strike thrower in Phil Hughes. 1-1 pitch coming to Carter. That's in there. Carter 5 for 17 on the road trip. Homered in St. Louis. That was last Monday. 3 homers on the year. He's driven in 8. Hughes with a 1-2. Ryan Braun, an RBI single. With the Brewers on the board.
He was out there talking to himself. He's missed badly with some of his pitches. Scooter Gennett resting in that dugout after doubling and scoring, giving the Brewers a 1-0 lead.
25 pitch inning here so far for Phil Hughes. First outing of his season against the Orioles, he went 6 innings, 6 1/3 in his second outing against the White Sox. Here comes the 2-2. And another full count. He's a first-round draft pick of the Yankees 12 years ago. Signed a free agent deal with the Twins in December of 2013. And after that breakthrough year for him, or a bounce-back year, if you will, in 2014, signed a nice contract extension with the Twins as Carter strikes out swinging. So a couple of punch-out for Phil Hughes. But the Brewers get on the board as Scooter Gennett doubles to the opposite field. And then Ryan Braun picks him up with a single back up the middle. 1-0 Milwaukee here in Minneapolis. One 1-0 Brewers. Ryan Braun, the DH tonight, with an RBI single, bringing Gennett in from second. Now Paul Molitor's team will get their first crack. Hall of Famer led his team to a surprisingly good season a year ago. They were in the hunt into the final weekend of the regular season. 83 wins last year. Great career in Milwaukee. Great career period as a player. Here's the Twins batting order presented by Potawatomi. Eduardo Nunez at the top. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer. 372 average for Mauer. Sano, Arcia, Byung Ho Park is the DH tonight. Eduardo Escobar, Kurt Suzuki, and Byron Buxton rounding out the batting order. On the mound tonight for the Brewers, someone who's off to a terrific start with his new team, Chase Anderson.
Yep, 1-0, and the Brewers have won both of his starts so far this year. First ever start for Chase against the Twins. Last time out, 6 innings, 4 hits. He did allow 3 runs, but they were 3 unearned runs against the Cardinals in a Brewers victory.
Eduardo Nunez. Check out that batting average that he has. He's 10 for 18. Playing third tonight. They could move him around the infield. Trevor Plouffe not in the lineup tonight. Strained intercostal. Sore side.
Yeah, that's right. Talk about he might go on the disabled list tomorrow, and that'd be a big loss for the Twins. That guy can hit. Their third baseman.
He's swinging a pretty good bat, or had been, as Nunez is as well, and he ropes one out of play down the line.
And just golfed that curveball and hit it hard. Hooked it foul.
With 6 hits in his last 3 games, does Nunez, but it's Chase Anderson, who has given up nothing through his first 2 starts. Sometimes tough spring trainings are overrated, but that is hit well into left field. On the run is Flores, and he will make the catch. Well hit, but Flores was right there for out number 1.
Yeah, there's a good start for the defense for the Brewers. A little bit shaky defensively in yesterday's game against the Pirates. Wasn't so much the errors yesterday, but plays that should have been made that were not. And a nice running catch going on the warning track, going over his head and able to haul it in. So Chase Anderson giving the old fist pump.
Nice play by Flores, and now Brian Dozier to the plate. He has been scuffling. Just a 167 average for Dozier. He was an all-star last year for the Twins. Matter of fact, homered in the all-star game against Mark Melancon.
A veteran on this ball club that was probably shouldering too much of the burden of the offense early, and a home run hitter, believe it or not, a second baseman, has some home run power. Maybe trying to do too much.
2-0 pitch from Anderson. Much of a year ago, the Twins won 83 games. They went through quite the stretch to get to where they are, or where they were last year, and where they hope to be again, contending status and then some. Difference for the Twins that got him in the mix was a hot month of May. Molitor's team went 20-7. That got him in the fight. They stayed with it stayed in that fight all year long. But from 2011 to 2014, they averaged 92 losses a year.
Yeah. And some thought that Molitor should have been the manager of the year in the American League. Nobody expected anything out of the Twins last year, and they went down to the last weekend, got knocked out at the end of the season. And as you mentioned, that good May, sometimes that's all it takes when you're in a division that nobody's really running away. They ended up only 4 games over 500, so one good month got them right in the hunt all year.
3-2 pitch to Brian Dozier. That's it in the air to center field. Kirk Neuenhuis has it measured. That's out number 2.
Well, let's check out the Brewers defense, brought to you by Menards today. You got some pretty good speed in that outfield with Flores, Neuenhuis, and Santana. And no surprises on the infield. Hill, VR, Jeanette, and Carter, and Jonathan Lucroy once again behind home plate. Luke the Iron Man so far. He's catching just about every day.
Really is. Day game after a night game. That's what he did in Pittsburgh. Right back on the plate yesterday afternoon, and right there again tonight. Here's Joe Mauer. He's off to a terrific start. Word is he feels as good as he has felt for quite some time. Check out that batting average now. You know, the power, those numbers were not expected to be there. They haven't been there the last few years for Mauer, but he is hitting for high average, and he has an 8-game hitting streak going into this game.
And he's got a bunch of multi-hit games. I think it's 5, and always a tough out. I mean, he might not have the home run power that you would expect out of a guy commanding the salary that he has, but he's still a good hitter, uses left field very well, and a full-time first baseman now.
6-time All-Star. The contract he has, it's a monster one, and it runs through 2018. Here comes Anderson with a 2-1. Check swing, tapper. A good clean inning for Chase Anderson as the Twins go down in order. So nice start for the Crew. We are 3-1 here at Target Field. field. Brewers with the early lead. Ryan Braun an RBI single, bringing Jeanette around, who doubled in inning number 1. Aaron Hill, Kirk Neuenhuis, and Jonathan VR here in the top half of the second. Brewers made Phil Hughes deliver 27 pitches in that first inning. Hill 3 for 16 on this road trip. Missing a ball, a strike to the Brewers' third baseman.
Yeah, still hasn't really found that comfort level at the plate. Still trying to find it. They were talking to Aaron Hill before the ball game today, and we're looking out at the outfield, and they say this is a pretty big outfield, but it's no bigger than Pittsburgh and St. Louis, I don't think, as far as measurements go. I mean, it doesn't play as deep as Pittsburgh for sure.
This is in the air to center field. Byron Buxton out number 1.
And he was commenting on when his Toronto Blue Jays came in here and made this thing look like a bandbox with Bautista and all those guys coming in here hitting home runs. That was back in the days when he was hitting a lot of home runs. Aaron Hill. He said they made it look like a little league field, but this is a pretty fair ballpark unless you get him down the line and right, but you got to hit it high.
My first look at it in person without the snow. We got a tour here a few years ago, but that was in January. Beautiful park. This ballpark. Here's Kirk Neuenhuis lifting one foul down the line.
It's good pitcher's park in the winter.
Yeah, it would be probably hard to go deep in the middle of January.
Yeah, ball gets a little hard, doesn't it? Bats get brittle.
Yeah, we need to get into one.
Don't get jammed. There have been very cold days here at Target Field, and thankfully the Brewers here in mid-April. It's beautiful out. It's actually a little bit, as you mentioned, a little bit humid out here today.
It was one of those when the schedule came out. You look at it and go, wow, coming up here already. Third week of April. Might wait another month or so. You kind of hold your breath.
Pack the winter coat.
Absolutely.
Don't need it.
Series fans always look forward to. Brewers and Twins fans. Couple of night games followed by day games in this home and home 4-game matchup. Always see Brewer fans here. Target Field. 1-2 pitch to Neuenhuis. That's strike 3 called. Third strikeout, the second looking here this evening.
Yeah, that cut fastball that came back and caught the outside edge. The incredible command of his pitches. And Phil Hughes, there it is. That late movement, and Kurt Suzuki very good defensively behind home plate, able to frame it nicely. You go up there against this guy and say, first of all, I'm not going to walk. So if he gives me 3 balls, I know I'm not going to walk. So the next ones are going to be in a strike zone. He just doesn't walk people.
His next one will be his first this year as Jonathan VR steps in. VR with that average at 273, but the on-base percentage is .400. And he's had the ups and downs. Over the weekend you saw it. You can see him get some hits for you, have multi-hit games, but it's a tough day for him yesterday. An error, a caught stealing, but he certainly has turned in some pretty good work in these first 2 weeks for the Brewers.
Yeah, Friday night against the Pirates, and the Brewers win. 3 hits, stole a base, drove in a run.
2-1 pitch from Phil Hughes. There's a bouncing ball to short. That's Eduardo Escobar, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Phil Hughes moved to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Milwaukee.
A 1-0 lead for the Brewers here at Target Field. Chase Anderson getting back to work. He's gotten off to a good start here for the Brewers. He has gone 2 straight starts without giving up an earned run. So talking to Jonathan Lucroy about what has made Anderson so successful here, he says it's been that changeup. He says it looks a lot like his 4-seam fastball. So he says it's been effective in keeping hitters off balance. And he said they just have a little bit of doubt when they go up to the plate. They seem to second guess that pitch a lot. And so he says it's just been making guys uncomfortable to where they don't want to swing at it. And Craig Counsell made an interesting point. He said, when you look at the scouting report, everyone talks about his changeup, but he said the fastball has been just as effective setting that up.
It has been very effective here, Rock. Thanks, Sophia. And it kind of goes back to spring training where he really struggled. And he's working on things. You see that a lot with pitchers or position players, whatever the case, but especially pitchers, obviously. If the ERA is bloated, it could be because they're working on certain things. And a guy like Anderson, whatever the issue was, he got it settled just in the nick of time.
Yeah, not sure what he was working on. He just didn't really feel comfortable out there on the mound, and particularly early in the game. First inning, second inning. I mean, they got most of their runs on Chase, first, second inning. Then he was able to settle down. I'm not sure it was just trying to get that comfort level. You have to believe he's used to pitching in Arizona. That couldn't have been it.
He's facing a very big man right now in Miguel Sano, 6'4", listed at 260 pounds.
25 years old.
Very highly touted player in this Twins system. Came up last year in July, was called up from AAA, actually from AA, Chattanooga. Appeared in 80 games. And this is well hit left center field, and this game is tied. First of the year for Miguel Sano, and the first earned run given up by Chase Anderson this season.
Yeah, I cheated him. He's only 22 years old. He's going to be 23 in May. And he got a hold of that one, the big guy. Had 105 home runs in the minor leagues. And when he gets a hold of them, kind of reminds a little bit of Chris Carter. When he gets a hold of him, no ballpark's going to hold it. And that right in the wheelhouse, middle in, knocks it out of here. And that ties it up.
Sano in last year in finishing third in the Rookie of the Year voting, 80 games, but he homered 18 times. A lot of power from this guy. He has tied the game at 1. Oswaldo Arcia now at the plate. Arcia has had a lot to say about the Twins trying to get things turned around after losing their first 9 games. Had a big role, some big hits. Game-winning hits, as a matter of fact, in 2 of the 3 wins against the Angels here over the weekend. Another of Orlando Arcia, speaking of highly touted prospects, as good as it gets in the Brewers system. Shortstop Orlando.
Oswaldo, a bit of an enigma for the Twins. He's been bounced back and forth the last few years, and a concentration situation for Arcia. Oswaldo Arcia.
1-2 pitch sent to right field. That'll be a base hit right in front of Domingo Santana. So a homer and a single. That's how the Twins start the second off Chase Anderson.
Went down and got that pitch. Not a bad pitch. It was down. Went down and got it. Check it out. A changeup. He just went down and got it and just served it out to right field. Pretty good piece of hitting, keeping that bat in the hitting zone. Good long time.
Arcia follows Sano's homer with a single to right, and here's Byung-Ho Park from Korea. He was a teammate of Jung-Ho Gong with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Korean baseball organization. Sharply hit. That Scooter Gennett on the shift. There's one, and that's a double play. Park rounds into a 4-3 double play. Gennett swung around to the third base side of the bag at second. Able to turn 2.
Not one that you work on in spring training too much. You can see where Gennett ends up. He's thinking, who do I throw it to? I've got to get there myself. And he gets the out easily at first base. Park doesn't run all that well. He's got big power, but speed is not his strong suit.
Big power in Korea for sure. 50+ homers in consecutive years. First time that's been done over there. There's Eduardo Escobar. An opening day roster for the first time in his career. Last year for the Twins hit a career best 15 homers. Originally signed by the White Sox.
Yeah, not bad for a shortstop, right? 15 jacks in this ballpark.
Originally signed with the White Sox in 06, was traded to the Twins in July 4 years ago.
A lot of young players on this Twins team as well. Yes, 22. So not only did they compete last year with a record just a little bit over 500, but they've got a lot of learning to do. Maybe one of the reasons why they get off to such a slow start. Expectations can play tricks on you.
There's a base hit to center for Escobar. Third hit of the inning for Minnesota. Yeah, the Twins last year when they won their 83 games in at least some ways defied the statistics. They were not a particularly great hitting team. They were not a lights out good pitching team, but they made it all work. Paul Molitor's group. A lot of credit folks around here did to Torrey Hunter. Clubhouse chemistry on the field as well. He retired after last season. Clearly had some very good years from a number of players as well to keep them in the playoff chase. There's Kurt Suzuki, the catcher. The Twins, they've been struggling, especially in those first 9 games offensively. The catchers have really struggled here for the Twins. Kurt Suzuki, John Ryan Murphy, both south of 100 for a batting average.
Yeah, Suzuki's never been that big offensive threat. A couple of years ago he had a good year, hitting over 280, but last year around 240. Doesn't have a lot of power, but he's a heck of a catcher. He calls a good game, handles himself very well behind home plate, and certainly that has allowed the Twins to move Joe Mauer over to first base, and thinking is there he's going to be able to play more games, stay in the lineup. But he hasn't been too bad at first base. Not a lot of range, Joe Mauer, but of course he's got good hands because he's a catcher.
2-0 pitch in the air to center field. Neuenhuis looking up, and that is off the wall. A run will score. It's a double for Suzuki, and it's 2-1 Minnesota.
All right, bomb. That's what we're talking about, is a very good pitcher's ballpark, and I don't know how many ballparks that's not a home run in, but certainly this is one of them. That was high off of that fence out in center. And you got to hit it over everything out there. Suzuki puts a charge into that one. And watch Neuenhuis. He takes a few steps and then just stops. Good thing too. High off that fence out in center, and a run comes across.
Very high off the wall. Eric Johnson on to visit with his starting pitcher, who's been touched up for the first time in the regular season as a Brewer. Twins with a couple of runs across here in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, that double play really saving grace for Chase Anderson. That ball was hit hard as well. Everything hit hard in this inning.
Here's Byron Buxton. A lot of homegrown talent in this Minnesota ball club, and Buxton, Sano, extremely highly touted. He's 22 years old. #1 prospect in their system, and he can absolutely fly. those who say he is every bit as fast, if not faster, than Billy Hamilton of the Reds.
All right. He's got to get on first.
That's kind of the problem.
Can't steal first. Billy Hamilton gets on base quite a bit.
Buxton hitting just a .154. Was hit by a pitch last Thursday on the wrist. Sat out a couple of games. Just now getting back into the starting lineup. Came in yesterday and actually scored the winning run on the walk-off single, as it was ruled by Oswaldo Arcia. 0-2 pitch from Anderson.
And Buxton sold second, and the at-bat changed for Arcia. He got that double down the line. Of course, called a single. But he can run, just a matter of whether he's going to be able to get on base enough.
A ball, 2 strikes. Just foul down the line at third. Miguel Sano started the inning with a homer to left center. After Arcia singled, Byung-Ho Park get into a double play, and then back-to-back hits. Escobar a single, Kurt Suzuki a run-scoring double.
Yeah, the Twins are really staying back nicely on that Anderson changeup so far in this game. It's been a good pitch for him in his first 2 starts.
Ready again with a 1-2. Got him swinging. Lucroy will have to throw down the first to complete the strikeout, and he does. Inning over, but the Twins get a couple of runs, and we are through 2. It's 2-1 Minnesota.
Twins and Brewers. It starts on Wednesday night. As part of the 5-county 5-day celebration, fans can save 50% on tickets. Great seats are still available at brewers.com. Brewers Twins.
Back home.
Back home,
Back
Miller
home.
Park. Gonna be nice to get back home.
Yeah, Will. 3-city trip, first one of the year.
8 games, what, 9 days, right?
Yeah.
Off day in St. Louis.
I was hearing Minnesota folks, they do not have a 3-city swing this year.
Right.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that.
That's almost impossible.
Probably check to see whether that's actually true. There's a liner to left, and Arcia will grab it for out number 1.
Yeah, it looks like it's accurate.
Yeah.
How do you get away with that?
I was very surprised.
Say, we got to do some investigating. Who sets these schedules? I mean, everybody. The Twins get a break with everything, don't they?
Get all the help they could possibly want.
I mean, those 9-game, 10-day road trips, I mean, they wear you out.
Nice play over it short by Escobar to retire Domingo Santana, 2 men out.
I mean, those extra 3-4 days on the road, I mean, they take their toll, I mean, as the season goes on. The Twins don't have one.
Brewers have won their first swing of the year, and there's, I believe, a couple more coming.
Brewers have one in June. They have one in September. Brewers only have 9 games at home in September.
That is tough.
Yeah, Brewers have 3 of them.
Council's team, you mentioned that June trip. You go from Northern California to Southern, back to Northern, San Francisco, LA, and then back up to Oakland. Scooter Gennett steps in. Doubled and scored in the first. See if that gets Scooter going. Mentioned he's had a tough road trip, 2 for 20 coming into this game, and is about to be or trying to go 2 for 2 tonight. But Byron Buxton will have that covered out in right center field, and the Brewers retired in order for the second straight inning. 2-1 Twins here in the third. All-time greats, the Hall of Famer Paul Molitor, hometown guy, managing the Minnesota Twins. 2 homes really for him, though. The great years as a Brewer.
Yeah. That was an incredible time for Brewers baseball. Paul Molitor, I was there for each and every one of those games, and went down to the final at bat on occasion. Sometimes he had a home run his last at bat, and who would ever forget the end of that hitting streak?
With a walk-off single, you get booed. And here's Scooter Gennett, unable to field it. With a hot shot, a tough chance, and Eduardo Nunez is on to begin the third. Mercer.com trivia question about Paul Molitor here. Who played more games for the Brewers in their career, Molitor or Robin Yount? What a combo these two were.
Yeah, probably on the disabled list quite a bit in his career. No telling how many hits he would have been able to get. Ended up with what, 3,300?
3,300
plus.
Right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he came off the disabled list that year in '87, right after the All-Star break, and started his hitting streak.
39 games, right?
Yeah, amazing. No rehab, no nothing. Just stepped in there, started a 39-game hitting streak after not playing, had a hamstring problem. And Rick Manning got the base hit to end the game, and Molly on deck. People weren't happy.
Got booed.
People weren't happy at all.
Maybe a one and only in big league history. A walk-off hit and get booed.
But as Paul Molitor knows, the game and the wins and losses is much more important than individual achievement. But in that case, I don't know.
Kind of on the edge.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, that's hard. The hitting streak, anything close to that.
Incredible. It was an incredible time for Brewers baseball. Team streak. Good times. Matter of fact, Paulie was talking about, making reference to the Brewers' 12-game losing streak in May in '87 when they were in the middle of their 0-9 start. He said it's horrible to get through something like that. You just can't get out of it. I mean, every time you get late in the game, in the back of your mind, you're not verbalizing it in the dugout, but you're thinking, everybody's thinking of what's going to happen today. But they snapped out of it with a 3-game sweep of the Angels.
Well, history says you start that way, you don't make the playoffs, but you have 2 wild card teams, and it might be a game changer as that's blue just foul down the line. Brian Dozier trying to dunk one down the right field line. I mentioned the Twins in those games. Really, only one of the losses would be lopsided. That was to the Royals. Swept by the Orioles, the Royals, and the White Sox, and then swept the Angels.
Yeah, 14 runs in 9 games. You're not going to win many there.
2 strikes and nothing to the second baseman, Brian Dozier. Field single from Nunez to start the inning. We'll chop her up the line. That's going to be a tough chance. Here's Anderson, a high throw, and it gets by Carter. And advancing is Nunez. He's going to come home. Here's the throw, and that gets by everybody.
Just hold on to it.
Yeah. Dozier the second, and it's a 3-1 ball game.
First guy that should have held on to was Chase Anderson. There's no way they're going to get the out at first. Hold on to that. And you're looking at first and second. As it stands, you got a man at second to run in. No way you get this out right here. No way. Ball goes off the glove of Carter, and because of that, the run scores all the way from first base. And had it not been for that fence in front of the dugout, that would have been another base. That would have been 2 bases.
Talked about the defense here at times has been very choppy, and there's an example as the Twins get a run across, and Joe Mauer.
Yeah, hitting an error. Well, the Brewers started out the season playing some pretty solid defense. It's kind of left them for a little bit. Of course, no RBI.
Yep. No charge to Chase Anderson. 0-1 the count to Joe Mauer.
You throw the ball over Chris Carter's head, you have made a bad throw.
Big target over there. Tough play, really no play to be made, and trying to force it. The run is in, another in scoring position. Things about Mauer, they talk about how well he has played. The average speaks a lot. 372 coming in, but he struck out just 4 times.
He's never been a guy that strikes out a lot. Makes good contact and he shoots the ball all over the field. Had one big home run season and at the Metrodome.
Yeah, back in 2009, had 28 homers. Led the league in batting average. On-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS of over 1,000.
He and Justin Morneau lighten it up.
MVP season. Mauer. That's it in the air to left. Flores make the catch. Route number 1. Chase Anderson trying to settle things down a little bit. Miguel Sano provided the first run of the night for the Twins. A solo homer in the second. Dozier the runner at second with 1 out. Change for strike 1. Sano was thought to be a third baseman. That was where they were working him in the minor league system. But a couple of years ago, had to sit out the entire year. Had Tommy John surgery. So came in last year for half a season and performed very well, working in right field. And say Torrey Hunter was helping tutor him during spring training. A work in progress defensively, but a big bat.
That'd be a big third baseman right there.
Good.
Big man.
6'4", 260. This is what Miguel Sano did back in the second off Chase Anderson. That's the first earned run that Anderson has allowed as a Brewer.
Fastball up and in, and he's able to turn it around. Anderson doesn't throw hard. 92-93. Those 2 pitches have been off speed, curveball and changeup.
Anderson brings the 1-1. Sano third in the Rookie of the Year voting. Carlos Correa, Francisco Lindor were 1-2. Two-1.
You okay with the Mike Everett strike call?
I was hesitating on that a little bit.
It's a little subtle, isn't it? You got to keep your eye on him.
Yeah. It's a rookie status I have. It's kind of back.
No, you got to keep an eye on him. Very subtle.
2-2 pitch. Now runs full.
Just the opposite of Tom Hallion.
Never any question there. Huh?
No. You can hear him with a strike call out in St. Paul.
Every umpire has his own style, right? Mike Everett, the crew chief. Calling balls and strikes. 3-2 to Miguel Sano. Just does get a piece.
By the way, you're not a rookie anymore. I hate to tell you. You can start buying lunch.
Darn. I was riding that train as long as I could.
This is your 3rd year. I mean, you're a veteran.
3rd year, which will amount to, by the end of or the middle of next month, almost half a season. We're a little over that, yeah. BA will be back middle of May. This basketball season continuing. Mine wrapped up a while ago. That's strike 3 called. Anderson got it. There's out number 2.
Nice curveball. Kind of front doored it. Not where it was designed, but it ended up in a pretty good spot. Kind of buckled the knees of Sano. Check it out. There go the knees, and that's it. And catches the inside corner. He's setting up away. Ends up right on the inside corner. Sano knew it.
2 outs with a runner at second for Oswaldo Arcia. Singled in the second inning, but was erased on a double play. To a nice start. I mentioned his first at bat. Really been, as you said, an enigma. Others around here have talked about just really you keep waiting for that next step to be taken for him, and showing some signs. He might be about ready to do that. Into the shift. There's Jeanette. That is out number 3. So a shaky start, but Anderson recovers. Twins get another run across. We are. Start a little rally here. He has enjoyed facing the Minnesota Twins. You see the last 7 games, better than 500, and showing the ability to get extra bases with the 2 homers and the 3 doubles. It's terrific against the Twins. Last year went 7 for 15.
You watch that guy hit. It's like a clinic every time he goes up there. I mean, a perfect swing. He's very rarely off balance. I mean, you can say the same thing about Joe Mauer, but you add the element of power to Ryan Braun. Not so much Mauer, but they both stay on the baseball very well. They don't swing out of the zone all that often, and they use the whole field. Ryan Braun was kidding to him. He was joking around and kind of getting on himself. He says, "When's the last time I actually pulled a home run?" He was talking about that around the batting cage today. You don't have to pull him.
No. He launched a couple big flies in Pittsburgh, and one in particular that McCutchen started to go back on and then decided it wasn't even close to being worth it. Flying high over the wall at PNC Park.
Hit one 460 in Pittsburgh.
3-1 the count as he leads things off here in the 4th inning. RBI single for Braun in the 1st. And draws a walk here on the 4th.
How about that, a walk?
That's the first walk given up by Phil Hughes this season.
Well, I would imagine if I were a betting man, who was he going to walk? It would have been Braun, right? First walk of the year.
And the Brewers talked about it a lot, and that's why. Only the Cubs and Pirates are better at drawing them. And Lucroy draws, or rather Braun draws a walk here in the 4th, and Lucroy now at the plate. And that's a smash into center field, a base hit. And Braun will take the turn, and the Brewers have something going. Runners at first and second with nobody out.
Well, you figured after he walked a guy, the first pitch was going to be a strike, so I guess that's what Lucroy was thinking. Picking on the first pitch. Jeanette doubled on the first pitch, his first time up. First pitch to Luke, out over the plate, up, and a base hit to center. That's a nice swing, too. Why wait? Gives you a pitch like that, don't take it.
Little threat going here for Milwaukee in the top of the fourth. Big Chris Carter at the plate. He'll go after the first pitch, and that's trouble. There's one, and that is a wide throw on the turn to first, and scoring will be Braun as the Twins do the Brewers a favor.
Yeah, that's an unforced error right there. That's just a terrible throw by Dozier. That should have been an easy double play. And not even close. Mauer, no chance to get it. Rolls into the dugout, and the run scores. That's that cut fastball right off the end of the bat. Carter's thinking that's a double play, but Dozier, no, not even close to first base. Off the mark, the Brewers on the board. There's a gift.
Wow. Thanks much. And the tying run in scoring position for Aaron Hill. It's in there for a strike on the corner. So that looked to be about as routine a double play as you could ask for, but a miscue allows the Brewers to get a run across. And now in position to tie it.
It's been a rough start to the season for Brian Dozier as far as swinging the bat. Sometimes that leaks into your defense.
Both teams now with an error.
And both errors plated runs when they were committed. Didn't just set up a run, plated a run.
Hill hits it on the button, but right at Arcia, and that is out number 2. Carter remains at second. Kurt Neuenhuis will step in. He'll try to pick up Carter. Took a called third strike. Hughes with 3 strikeouts here so far. Drops one in there for a strike. At the time when Hughes was a Yankee, he served as a setup man for Mariano Rivera. Had some trouble in the bullpen. They sent him there and set up a guy who rarely has trouble, or rarely did when he played in Rivera. There's a base hit to center for Neuenhuis. Here comes Carter, and this game is tied at 3.
Well, the only walk of the season for Phil Hughes sets up a big inning for Milwaukee. A couple of runs across. Yeah, walk, a couple of hits and air, and the Brewers tie it up. That's a nice piece of hitting by Neuenhuis, who all of a sudden starting to get a little bit more playing time and starting to swing the bat much better. He left that one out over the plate. It was supposed to be inside, right down the middle, and slicing away from Buxton to drive in another 2-out run.
So a couple of runs across here for Milwaukee in the fourth. VR shortens up. Takes ball 1. Grounded to short in the second inning, did VR. Hughes retired the Brewers in order in the second and third inning, but Milwaukee with a good fourth in progress. It's dug out by Suzuki and a snap throw down to first.
Moves around well, doesn't he?
He does.
I mean, able to scoot side to side and keep it close. And not a great throwing arm, but he's very quick release and very accurate down to second base.
Two balls, no strikes to Jonathan Villar. And shortening up and takes inside.
3-0.
Hughes has already given up one walk in this inning. And brings the 3-0. And that's in there. Villar with a homer this year so far. He has driven in 7. Again, trying to bunt and foul tips it, and that one got Suzuki. It's going to need a moment or so.
3-1. You try and drop down a bunt. Not sure why you do that. Try and drive a gap. Try to find a gap, score a run with 2 outs. Ouch.
Enough said there.
Ouch is all it takes.
Yeah, it's funny to you.
Yeah, everybody laughing except for Suzuki and Lucroy.
Right.
Catchers aren't
And
laughing.
Rock Schroeder.
Yeah, I'm not laughing. Feel your pain.
Oh, the joys of catching, huh?
Well,
3 balls, 2 strikes to Jonathan Villar. Would heist the runner at first. And that's the second walk of the inning and of the season. Start number 3 here for Phil Hughes.
maybe buy a lottery ticket on the way home.
I guess.
They're seeing something unusual. Hughes with 2 walks in the same inning, let alone the same game.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Since 2014, and you're looking at Phil Hughes has had 32 starts where he has walked no one. So 2 years ago, his walks per 9 innings, 0.69. Here's Ramon Flores. And that missed. Fastball inside to Flores, who lined to left in the 3rd. Another start today, or tonight rather, out in left field. As all of a sudden, Phil Hughes is having a world of trouble finding the strike zone.
Yep, and the patient Brute crew not biting. Now time to get aggressive here on this 2-0 count. Got a man at second.
And that's slapped to the right side, and a nice sliding stop by Dozier, and the inning is over. But the Brewers able to tie the game, getting a couple of runs. Kurt Neuenhuis coming through with this 2-out single to bring in Chris Carter and tie this game at 3 as we move to the bottom of the 4th. Brewers with a couple of runs in the top of the fourth. 3-3 the score. Moving to the bottom of the fourth here at Target Field. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Surfrider Foundation in celebration of this month's Every Day is Earth Day initiative. By making simple changes in our daily lives, we can make a big impact on our environment. Go to foxsportsupports.com to learn more. Young Ho Park leading off the bottom of the fourth here for the Twins. Into a double play his first trip. Park 29 years old. Twins put up the posting fee and then signed Park to a 4-year, $12 million contract.
A big home run hitter over in Korea. Had a monster shot here a couple of days ago.
Yeah, 462 feet. This was Saturday against the Los Angeles Angels.
Watch where this one lands. That is way back out there, second tier out there, and sometimes you surprise even yourself how far you can hit them. You could see that reaction from Park. That is a long way out there in the center field.
Last year for the Nexen Heroes in the Korean baseball organization, he only 53 times, and he's just homered here at Target Field tonight. And it's 4-3 Minnesota. It's his third of the season. Second in 3 games.
He's got 3 of the 9 home runs hit by the Twins this year, and this is a no-doubter out there. Fastball away, might have been up a bit. Nice easy swing, and that ball just jumps off his bat, and Domingo Santana just watches it.
Sano has gone deep, and Byung-ho Park goes deep as well. And the Twins regain the lead. Escobar fouls it out of play.
Chase Anderson having a difficult time with the first hitter in the inning in this game. Home run, single, home run. Second, third, and fourth innings.
Yeah, he got through the first in order, but nothing easy after that. He's ahead 0-2 to Eduardo Escobar. Twins bat showing signs of coming alive at a bad time here for the Brewers. Let's see if Anderson can quiet him down a little bit. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball missing.
We're having a difficult time with that fastball in the inside corner. Tried it 2 consecutive times after getting ahead 0-2. Just missing.
2-2 pitch. Curve just did get a piece.
Got a piece of Lucroy.
Yeah.
With a bare hand.
That old line as a catcher, though, the day you feel the best is the first day of spring training.
Right. And downhill from there. Of course, Lucroy saying, I'd rather be me than Suzuki. Getting hit in the hand.
The lesser of the evils, you might say.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 call.
There it is, that fastball in. Escobar not pleased with that call, but it looked like a pretty good pitch. From where we sit, right at the bottom of the strike zone. You see the way Lucroy kind of caught it and lifted it up a bit right there. Nice job, Lucroy. Mike Everett gives him the call.
I was going to say an underrated portion of the of catching. I don't think it's underrated anymore. You measure that, you catchers in there.
Oh, they measure
frame
that.
it big time. Yes,
receiving the
absolutely.
baseball. Lucroy, one of the best.
Yep.
I mean, he was rated one of the best over the last couple of years as far as what they call stealing strikes. It is an art form. You don't move the glove too much. You don't bring it up or across too much with your arms. It's just kind of the way you catch the ball with your wrist. You move your wrist in toward the strike zone.
Suzuki with a base hit to right, and boy, he was really struggling mightily coming into this game, but 2 for 2 here tonight. Twins with 8 hits now. We are in the 4th inning.
And another pitch in the outside corner that stayed up in his zone, and Suzuki, after doubling high off the wall in center his first time up, able to hit it hard into right field.
And here's Byron Buxton. First round draft pick by this organization in 2012. In fact, he was the 2nd overall pick that year. Carlos Correa was number 1. He's struggling this year at the plate. Last year in 46 games, he did as well. Hit a shade better than 200. Struck out a lot. Curveball away. Has great speed. It's a matter of getting on base. That's the speed's great.
Well, making contact. Remember, they were talking about that. You know, same thing with Carlos Gomez here in Minnesota and the Mets. Hit the ball on the ground and use your speed. Well, that didn't work for Gomez. It might not be working for Buxton.
Here's a drive down the line, and that is a fair ball. Suzuki will round third. He will score. Buxton flies into third with a triple.
Too many triples down the left field line. You get a lot of them out in the right field line. It's a long throw, but Buxton's so fast. Any problem at all in the corner. It looked like Flores had a little bit of a wrestling match with that baseball in the corner. And Buxton with those long strides, it looks a lot like Ken Broxton running the bases. Just kind of gliding around the bases and makes this triple look easy.
Got there in a hurry. A 2-run lead again for the Twins. Unscoring triple from Byron Buxton. 2nd RBI of this young season. Scoring Suzuki. Here's Nunez.
And once again, back-to-back days. A lot of activity on the bases. Yesterday with the Pirates. Today with the Twins. Already Nunez up for the 3rd time. And we're sitting here in the 4th inning.
Brewers need some good innings from Chase Anderson, but it has not unfolded that way here in the early going. Showing bunts. Going through it is Nunez. 0-2 the count. He's 1 for 2 tonight and 11 for 20 is Nunez to begin this season. Infield shifted and in. That's strike 3 called. Well, a couple of strikeouts looking here in this 4th inning for Chase Anderson.
I'm not sure what the Twins are squawking about with that call. I mean, that's been a strike. That low strike's been called all night by Mike Everett. Right down the middle, catching the knees, and Nunez stunned by the call. You got to swing at that. Man at third, 1 out. Got to be a little bit more aggressive than that.
2 men out. Pitch count getting up there here for Anderson. Brian Dozier at the plate. Curve catches a corner. Dozier had an infield hit, and then an error was charged to Anderson, throwing it away, trying to make a play that wasn't there to be made at first, way over the head of Chris Carter on a little chopper up along the line. It was an error that ended up costing the Brewers a run. Both teams have committed an error, and in both cases, it's cost them a run.
It cost him a run there, and it would have been just hold on to it, first and second, nobody out, and then Anderson ended up getting the next 3 hitters. You don't know how it would have worked out had it stayed like that, but both teams have thrown the ball around a little bit and cost themselves runs.
Anderson ahead of the count now. A ball, 2 strikes to Brian Dozier. Fly to center in the first inning, did Dozier. And this is right back to Anderson. And that'll do it for the Twins here in the 4th, but they pick up a couple of more runs, and we are through 4, 5-3 Minnesota. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE since 2015. And by Hugh B. and Abraham, 1-800-800-5678. Hugh B. and Abraham, tell them you mean business. Top of the 5th here at Target Field. Domingo Santana leading off, top of the order here for the Brewers. Santana, Jeanette, and Braun. Brewers again playing from behind. A couple of runs in the bottom of the 4th for the Twins. 1-1 the count to Santana. A couple of ground balls from him so far tonight. 1 to second, 1 to short. And the curve is swung on and missed. Phil Hughes walked a couple of hitters in the 4th inning. Brewers pushed a couple of runs across.
A couple of walks in there, a couple of hits, and the Brewers able to tie it up, but Minnesota went to work very quickly in the bottom of the inning.
Twins showing some home run power here tonight. Sano and Park have gone deep, and Santana goes down swinging. Who's out number 1.
That's a good curveball right there. One of his best. Yep, 2-2 pitch, and he pulled this one out of his back pocket, out of the zone, but that's a big breaker.
Santana pulls off of it.
One out here in the 5th. And Hughes will now face Scooter Gennett. A slight delay. They had to close the gate out in left field. Swung open. A little work done by Arcia. And he might need to do a little more work.
Mike Everett going over the ground crew saying we need some help with that gate. Won't close. Might need somebody on the other side of it to close it. So he'll just lean up against the wall. That'll work for a while.
Just play a really deep left field.
I like the effort that he's putting out here. Not many left fielders are going to do that. They'd be giving up by now.
Whatever I need to do to help the ball club, he says.
It's not the wall, it's the pad. The pad's just loose.
When in doubt, get out the duct tape.
Yeah, that fixes everything. I'm only doing what anybody else would have done. I tried to fix the problem.
It's either impact maintenance or duct tape.
Don't they have any green duct tape though?
Going with the red, and Oswaldo Arcia is getting a real kick out of this. And the tape is really not very good tape.
This is going to be an issue here. Forget it. What happened?
Well, so the tape didn't work, but everybody thinks the job is done. So it's a Minnesota thing.
That's a long run out there. Good job.
Standing ovation for the guy whose duct tape did not work. Well done. Back at it, Scooter Gennett. And there's a shot into right center field to the gap. And Scooter Gennett will have his second double of the night.
Well, you can credit the wall pad delay for a little bit of that. You know, Hughes getting one right down the middle. Scooter able to find the gap out there in right center. So Scooter's swinging a bat. He came into the game 2 for 20 on this road trip. And he's got 2 hits tonight, 2 doubles. One to right center, one to left center.
Hit number 5 for the Crew. 2 of them coming from that man, Scooter Gennett. Ryan Braun picked up Gennett with a first inning RBI single. Drew a walk in the 4th. Fouls off a curve from Hughes. Let's go back to what Braun did on Friday night at PNC Park. Powerball home run count. Brawny with 3 of them now. 2 of them coming Friday night. They were big. Both 2-run blast in that 8-4 Brewers victory over the Pirates.
Yep, both of them to center field. His other one to right field.
0-1 pitch. Braun hits it well. Left center field. That's going to score Gennett. And Buxton cuts it off at the track, but Braun has a double. Back-to-back doubles, and the Brewers are within a run.
Yeah, it's just a sweet swing right there, folks. Yeah, the 0-1 pitch. He missed a curveball, and yeah, Hughes came back with another strike, and he just ripped it out there into the gap in left center. Curveball cutter. He left it right down the middle of the plate. You can see Suzuki not happy with the location. And Braun not going to miss too many of those. He likes the ball out away from him. And Brewers back to within 1 run. Change places with Scooter Gennett.
No shortage of offense here tonight. Jonathan Lucroy to the plate. Chopper over to third. And the throw is dug out by Maurer. A low throw from Nunez, but Maurer able to pick it. Out number 2. Ryan Braun feeling good tonight.
Yes, he is. A couple of doubles and or a couple of hits and a walk. A couple of RBIs.
Handling the DH role here in this game. Craig Counsell telling reporters before the game they see someone else in that role tomorrow. We'll see. 2-2 home and home series. 2 up here, Miller Park, Wednesday night and Thursday afternoon. Here's Chris Carter.
Might be Jonathan Lucroy, designated hitter tomorrow. Of course, you don't really want to. A lot of times you don't want your only other catcher as the designated hitter in case something happens to your starter. Maldonado in that case. We'll see. Keep his bat in the lineup. Well, another option would be put him at first. DH Carter.
Willie Peralta and Irvin Santana, a pair of right-handers, be on the mound tomorrow afternoon. But a lot of tonight still remains. Brewers down a run. The runner in scoring position. 2 strikes and nothing to Chris Carter. Curve just getting a piece is Carter. Fairly light schedule in baseball today. One early game, the Patriots day game in Boston. Blue Jays rallied to beat the Red Sox 4-3. Cubs beat the Cardinals 4-0. Top of the 7th in St. Louis. In the 0-2 pitch. That's just off the plate, a fastball.
Yeah, that one didn't miss by a whole lot.
On the runner at second. Couple of RBIs so far for Ryan tonight. 1-2. Chris comes in with a good on base percentage coming into this series, 364. 3 homers. He's driven in 8. The 1-2. Breaking ball chopped over to third. That's Nunez charging, and the throw's in time. That'll do it for the Brewers in the 5th. Ryan Braun, though, having a good night. Couple of RBIs, bringing Scooter Gennett around in innings 1 and 4, and we're halfway through here at Target Field. 5-4 Twins.
We are in the middle of the 5th. The Twins lead this one 5-4. And in our Crew in the Community tonight, you can support the Brewers Community Foundation this season by rounding up in the Brewers team store. By rounding up your bill to the nearest dollar and donating your change to BCF, you can help change the lives of kids and families in need all around the state.
Thank you much, Sophia. We move to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Joe Mauer will lead things off. Hitless in 2 trips. Tapper back to Chase Anderson, and a line out to left. Chase retired the Twins in order in the 1st, but been bumpy since. Minnesota with a couple of runs in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 2 more in the 4th. Home run power tonight, Miguel Sano and Byung-Ho Park. Eight-game hitting streak for Mauer. First baseman stays alive. That was a nice pick he made in the top half of last inning. Rocky was saying he's handled that. Looks pretty good over there. Of course, so many years behind the plate, but
yeah,
it's solid over there defensively.
He was a good defensive catcher, but it's a little bit position that you get beat up. The Twins need his bat in the lineup. Can't afford to get him hurt.
Runs one over. That'll be gobbled up by Scooter Gennett. 1 out. Gennett having a good night. A couple of doubles and a couple of runs scored.
Did you get a chance to walk around town today?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
A lot of Brewers fans around town. Good to see.
Always good to see that. A couple of them right there. Enjoying a nice night here in Minneapolis.
I am told that the Milwaukee Fire Department softball team is here tonight. They beat the St. Paul Fire Department today, 17-10.
Nice.
Pitcher's duel. So congratulations to the Milwaukee Fire Department softball team.
Continuing the state of Wisconsin dominance over the state of Minnesota. In some sports.
Yeah. Anytime a Milwaukee team can beat a Minnesota team, we're going to talk about it.
We are all in.
I mean, tiddlywinks, you name it.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I understand. It's kind of like that with those guys I hang around with in the fall and the winter, too. They take a lot of pleasure in when it happens. Just a good old-fashioned rivalry. No matter the sport. Miguel Sano. I might as well just go ahead and get this out of the way. I always feel like I need to pump the brakes on the Badger thing, but
why?
Paul Bunyan's axe, I think, may have permanent residence in the state of Wisconsin. There, I said it. Okay, I'm good. Mic drop.
Right. Well, again,
mic drop.
Anytime you get a chance.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Miguel Sano. Into the shift. That's Scooter on the backhand. 2 men out.
Scooter didn't know he could play shortstop. I mean, most of his plays today have come on the third base side of the bag at second. Got enough arm. There he is. And going further into the hole over there and making a play. Got enough arm to get it done.
Having a nice night. 2 outs, nobody on for Oswaldo Arcia. Put together. A lot of time in the offseason out at Fort Myers, where the Twins had their spring training, and this is dumped into center field. There's a base hit. Second hit of the night for Arcia.
Almost a carbon copy right off the end of the bat, but the point is he's able to stay back long enough to get enough of it. He's a strong kid. Muscles it out there in the center field. His first hit came to right field. It was a good pitch by Anderson going away from him, but he just hung right in there, dumped it into center field.
I think that may have stung a little bit, but stings less when it drops. Arcia 2 for 3 tonight, swinging a pretty good bat here of late for the Twins. Here's Byung-ho Park. He launched one over the wall in right field his last trip. Former teammate of Jung-ho Gong. Not a lot of hits, but 3 of them have been big flies in the first 2 weeks for Park. Fouls that off his foot. Anderson trying to keep the Twins off the board here. The home team has scored in each of the last 3 innings.
Yep, 93 pitches are ready for Chase. 5th inning.
Both Anderson and Phil Hughes have been pretty busy out on the mound tonight. And against the shift, away from it, a single to right field. The first 2 are retired, the next 2 reach. The Twins have runners at first and second.
Strong guy, Park. Watch him get eaten up inside. Pulls the hands in, just not able to get extension, but strong enough. There's a lot of room over there. You had Carter holding the runner, Jeanette up the middle, and a lot of room on the right side of the infield.
So the inning continues here for the Twins as Eduardo Escobar will be at the plate. Arcia at second, Byung-ho Park the runner at first.
11 hits for the Twins. Wow. The pitching staff has been giving up the hits the last couple of nights.
Well, the Pirates yesterday had 17 hits. Route to that 9-3 victory at PNC. Curveball drops in there. Escobar with that single to center in the second inning and took a called 3rd strike in the 4th. Slap to Chris Carter, and he'll handle it himself, and a threat is turned back. Not much is easy, but Anderson keeps him off the board here in the 5th. It remains a 1-run game. Minneapolis Twins lead the Brewers 5-4. Major League Baseball is in full swing. And on Thursday, Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers take on division rival and World Series champion Kansas City Royals. 5:30 Central. Game you can only see on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Aaron Hill, Kirk Neuenhuis, and Jonathan Villar. Hopefully some more here for the Brewers. Hill going after the first pitch and sending this one to Byron Buxton in center. 1 pitch, 1 out. Hill still looking to get it going. 0 for 3 tonight. Here's Kirk Neuenhuis. RBI single to center in the 4th.
It's been a while since Aaron has been in the lineup every single day. That's an adjustment in itself, particularly when you start getting up there in age, and you figure at some point he's going to start feeling comfortable up the plate and getting some hits consistently. It's going to be important for him to start hitting, especially playing third base.
Trying to get back. It's a lot. It's a big ask to get back to the form and he's at his peak, the power numbers that he had, but you know that he can certainly get you some timely hits. I don't think they're expecting a great average from him the last couple of years, 244, 230, but here's a guy you go back 6-7 years ago and he's hitting like 36 homers, and Kirk Neuenhuis becomes a strikeout victim. Another called third strike, and there are 2 men out here in the 6th.
And multi-platinum pop star Andy Grammer's coming to Miller Park on Saturday, May 14th, to perform a free post-game concert courtesy of Pick and Save following the Brewers matchup against the Padres. Reserve your spot today, brewers.com/concerts.
Jonathan Villar facing Phil Hughes now. Villar grounded to short. Walked in the 4th. Hughes has given up a couple of walks. First 2 he surrendered this season. As the Brewers' patient approach has resulted in a couple of things that don't happen. Phil Hughes very often giving up walks, but they've had a lot of called third strikes, and Villar behind here 1-2. And the 1-2. Fastball is in there, inning over. Cutter there, it looked like, and a 1-2-3 fifth, or 6th rather. It remains a 5-4 game. Field 5-4. Twins lead the Brewers. Revisiting that carsoup.com trivia question now. Who played more games for the Brewers? Paul Molitor or Robin Yount? Kid. Well, he had a lot of bad luck with injuries a stretch of time, and so Yount gets the edge there.
No surprise.
There you go. See, even with that injury bug that he had in multiple seasons, had a lot of years where that wasn't the case. And like second games played, there's 3,300 hits in his career, 2/3 of them coming as a Brewer.
Hit number 3,000 came on a triple. First time ever. So he's got that going for him. Lane Boyer continues here tonight. 5th appearance for Boyer, has not allowed an earned run. That Boyer pitched yesterday at Pittsburgh, tossed a scoreless inning, and that was his first appearance on his road trip. That the appearance in yesterday's game.
Facing Kurt Suzuki, a ground ball to a charging VR, and there's the first out.
3,000th hit, a triple. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
He can hit, he can run, he can hit for power. If only he hadn't had so many injuries. No telling how many hits he would have ended up with.
Always love just watching that compact swing. Tremendously gifted player, Hall of Famer for a reason.
Never really moved that front foot. He just kind of turned that front knee in. That was his triggering mechanism, and boy, could he generate some bat speed.
As you point out in your book too, and you talk about Molitor and Yount, both Hall of Famers, but different, right? In their approach and
yeah, completely different. Yeah, and both led by example. I mean, incredible talents, and both of them want to be in there every single day. I think Paulie liked the attention a little bit more than Robin did.
So many fans relate to that whole group there, but Yount, Molitor, Gantner together for a long time.
I was so fortunate to be able to play with those two guys for a few years and learned a lot. I mean, you don't even have to, sit them down and talk to them about it. Just watch them. Watch the way they prepare. Watch the way they handle themselves away from the ballpark, on the planes. Their preparation. Their insatiable desire to play every single day.
Byron Buxton with a foul ball. You hear the line a lot, and it is probably cliche, but how to be a pro. And that's really where you're going with those guys, right?
I mean, they lead by example in a lot of different ways.
Now managing the Minnesota Twins. Excellent job last year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Blaine Boyer working to Byron Buxton, and this is lifted in the air to right field. Lots of room for Santana. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. Chase Anderson's night ends 5 innings, gives up 5 runs, 4 of which are earned. 11 hits, a couple home runs allowed. His team very much in the game. Anderson clearly not at his best, but his team in the fight here in the 6th inning. Eduardo Nunez steps in. Curveball in there. Nunez comes into this series one of the hot hitters. This Minnesota lineup. Playing 3rd tonight, Trevor Plouffe unavailable, at least in the lineup. He is still active, but he has the strained intercostal area between the ribs. And he was swinging a pretty hot bat, but then again, so is Nunez. Boyer with a 1-1. Foul tip that off the mask of Lucroy.
You hear a lot about those intercostals, the oblique injuries. I mean, that's something that you really never heard of up until what, about 7 or 8 years ago. I mean, the intercostal injury, that muscle between the ribs. I'm not sure. I mean, it's one of those things, maybe the weight training and all that core work that guys do.
Kind of injuries that can linger.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing that cures him is rest, and long rest at that.
The broken bat roller, Jeanette on the shift, and the throw is not in time. Nunez quickly up the line.
And once again, Scooter Jeanette, with a good quick throw to first base, but didn't have the angle. The angle that he had going to that baseball was going away from first. And had to throw it sidearm. Check it out. Scooter, watch it. I mean, a lot of times you're going to be going toward first base. He did best he could, but when Nunez getting down that line very quickly, extends the inning, and beats it easily at first base. Now you got the power coming up.
Brian Dozier. There's a hit in 3 trips. Runner on the move, pitches in the dirt, and that's easy money for Nunez.
You could see that coming, couldn't you? The way he can run. Going on the first pitch, breaking ball. He picked a good pitch to run on, and Lucroy had to block it. Actually, look at that slider that a little bit crossed up Lucroy. Wouldn't have mattered.
They had a little speed in spots, this Twins lineup, in spots, not all up and down, but Nunez runs well. He's in scoring position with the Twins second baseman. 1-0. He's in there. Slider in there to even the count. Warrior trying to keep his team within a run. On in relief of Chase Anderson, who went the first 5. Brings the 1-1. Curve is inside. Brewers trying to fight their way back here. They have, I think, the next win here this month puts them ahead of last year. Of course, the awful start this team had, and this very young Brewers team, many spots fighting their way through. They've shown an ability to bounce back pretty well after a rough outing. Greg Counsell and his guys just staying with the plan here.
Yeah, just seeing what these young players can do, how they are able to snap out of tough spots, and learning a lot about their players out there in the field.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Dozier. That is well hit and into left field. A base hit. Nunez had to duck, but he's still going to score. Dozier on his way to second. One scoring double for Dozier. The Twins back out in front by 2.
They got a breaking pitch. Looked like a slider on a 2-2 count. And Dozier able to wait long enough to hit it hard. Almost hit Nunez. Nunez had to get down. That ball was hit right at him. Got down, avoided the contact. Look out. And still able to score. That ball was in the gap. And Nunez can run.
So after the first 2 Twins were retired, Nunez reaches, Dozier brings him around, and now Wayne Boyer has to deal with Joe Mauer. Big moment right here.
Boy, first time through this Twins batting order. Been a lot of activity on the bases the last couple of days.
13 hits for the Twins already. Brewers pitching gave up 17 knocks yesterday to the Pirates. Boyer ready to bring the 0-1. Fastball away.
Yeah, first base open, you might want to think about being careful here, but got the big boy coming up. Sano's already got a home run.
There is the 6'4", 260-pound right fielder. A ball, a strike to Joe Mauer. Curveball caught the corner. Mauer, a tapper to the mound, a liner to left, and a ground ball to second. Twins with a run here in the sixth. They have scored in 4 of the first 6 innings tonight. Here comes the 1-2. Do it again.
Got to be careful trying to bust Joe Mauer in a lot. They tried to come in there that time, fouled it off. First pitch that they tried to come inside on. He will turn on if he's looking in there.
Pretty sizable moment of this game. We're only in the 6th, but Brewers trying to stay within a couple. Missed away. Count is even.
There was a day when you would not have a shift on Joe Mauer like that. He could use the whole field very well, even rolling balls in that big hole between third and second.
2-2 pitch, and that's down the line, and that's a fair ball. Bangs off the side wall. Another run will score, and it's back-to-back doubles as Mauer extends his hitting streak to 9, and the Twins lead 7-4.
Yeah, that's just what we're talking about. I mean, he used the whole field very well, able to tuck that one inside the left field line. You got to make your pitches. You got to make good pitches to get Mauer. He might not hit home runs, but he is a tough out. That pitch right down the middle of the plate. Mauer just slices it inside the left field line for another 2-bagger. And with 2 outs and nobody on, 3 consecutive hits, the Twins have a couple of runs on the board. Like 14 hits.
Man,
for Minnesota. Wow.
7 runs. This was a team that scored all of 14 runs in the first 9 games. And a rude greeting for the former Twin, Blaine Boyer, tonight. Curveball to Sano is in for a strike.
And Boyer had a nice year with the Twins last year.
He did. 68 games, ERA at 2.5. Inning started well enough for Boyer. He retired Suzuki and Buxton. Suzuki a ground out, Buxton a fly ball, but the last 3 have reached Nunez, Dozier, and Mauer. And now he has to deal with the cleanup hitter, Miguel Sano. A 1-1. Curve is chopped foul. Tyler Gravy getting loose now for the Crew. Bullpen getting active too early.
Yeah, the Brewers used 5 guys out of the bullpen yesterday, including Gravy and Boyer.
Blocked by Lucroy. Times every game. Compelled to say it. Good block by Lucroy. Boy, yesterday an inning. Brady 2/3 of an inning. Capuano, Torres, and Sam Freeman also appearing yesterday. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Sano.
So you don't want to make mistakes to this guy out over the plate. I mean, you can't get him inside, even with the marginal pitches, but you got to get it in there. Guy likes to get his arms extended, like most big guys. Get that curveball down.
Boyer again with a 2-2. Curve misses. So we talked about his power, and he's shown it here in this game tonight. 18 homers last year in 80 games. 9 of those homers came in the month of August. Really turned it on that month. Drove in 26. Three-2 pitch. Big matchup here. Blaine Boyer and the young star in the making, Miguel Sano.
Well, Boyer got away with a mistake right there. That last pitch up, breaking pitch up down the middle. Sano out in front of it.
Boyer again ready with a 3-2. Sano's staying alive. Called third strike and a ground ball to second for Miguel Sano. Talked about the good side of him, the power he showed last year, but he did strike out a lot, about a third of the time.
What you would expect.
One more time. Plus one more after that. 10th pitch of the at-bat coming up.
He's in swing mode right now.
Boyer having trouble putting him away. Mauer the runner at second. Back-to-back doubles after an infield single from Nunez. Boyer will need at least 11 pitches. Good matchup, key moment.
Rain's starting to come down here in Target Field, and see Sano trying to dry off that bat. They said it was going to be around 9 o'clock the rain was going to come in, or just a little bit early on that.
The threat of it to continue into tomorrow morning. Hopefully it'll be done and get the game in tomorrow, and these two teams will head on to Milwaukee to meet up on Wednesday night and Thursday afternoon. And Sano wins the battle. Ball 4. 4 straight Twins now have reached after the first 2 were retired in the inning. And Craig Counsell is going to have to go to his bullpen. He's had Tyler Cravey warming up. So once again, that bullpen is too busy, too early. 2 runs across so far, a 3-run lead for the Twins. Pitching change at Target Field. 7-4 the score as we continue from Minneapolis.
Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly.
Well, they were calling for rain, and unfortunately they're right, but we are still playing here at Target Field. Tyler Cravey now on. Blaine Boyer retired the first two, but then trouble hit, so now Cravey on to try to finish the inning.
Yeah, it's really coming down now. Yeah, he pitched yesterday at Pittsburgh, 2/3 of an inning. Inherited 3 runners in that inning and allowed 1 to score, gave up a hit. Called up on April 5th when Garza went on the disabled list.
Yeah, they are running for cover here at Target Field. Oswaldo Arcia, he has a couple of hits tonight. And he takes a strike from Cravey. Another tough night for Brewers pitching. Mentioned in Brewers Live pregame, that is a sharp divide between outings from the starters and the 5 Brewer wins as opposed to the 7 losses.
Well, that's what this game's all about, right? Starting pitching. You can get good starting pitching. You stay in the game. You allow the offense to get going. And there have been times when the Brewers just have not been able to keep the other team off the board.
A strikeout of Arcia, and we come to the end here of the 6th inning. The rain's coming down. It's a 7-4 game. Twins lead the Brewers. Another reason why Miller Park is far superior to anything that Minneapolis would have to offer. Raining, no roof, so we are in rain delay mode here. We blame the Twins. 7-4 the score. The Twins leading Milwaukee. A couple more runs for the home team in the bottom of the 6th inning. And just another tough night for Brewers pitching. Chase Anderson going 5 innings, and then Blaine Boyer retiring the first 2 in the 6th, and then 4 straight reached. And then Tyler Cravey finally ending the inning, but the pitching troubles continue.
Well, it's been kind of a common theme. I mean, when the starting pitching is not able to keep the opponent off the board or minimize damage, I mean, it seems like it snowballs. I mean, 17 hits yesterday for the Pirates, and it kind of bleeds into the bullpen as well. I mean, these guys are in the games early. The opposition is starting to feel good at the plate, and the Twins here in 6 innings with 14 base hits. I mean, the Brewers are going to have to figure out a way to start to get somebody out.
Yeah, give yourselves a chance here to try to win some ball games. So rain delay here at Target Field. It's 7-4. The Twins lead the Brewers. We'll take a break, and Jeff Grayson will take over at the Fox Sports Wisconsin studios when we return.